Welcome to the Ask Coach Mac podcast, where coaches from around the world get their strength and conditioning questions answered.
What's up, guys? Rob McKeefery here, and welcome to episode number 15 of Ask Coach Mac. Thank you so much for joining me today. We have a great question from Lauren, but before we get to that, we want to thank today's sponsor, Iron Grip. Iron Grip is the largest provider of commercial free weight equipment worldwide and the only manufacturer with a line of exclusively American-made free weight equipment. Their equipment can be found in premier facilities in over 60 countries, including 3 facilities that I've put together. They are the industry leader and my go-to choice for bars, plates, and dumbbells. For more information, go to irongrip.com, follow them on Twitter at @iron_grip, or call Chris DeSanto at 509-230-3124. All right, here's today's question from Lauren.
Hey Coach Mac, my name is Lauren Beckley, and I'm a coaching assistant at Weber International University in Babson Park, Florida, under Director Steve Rassel. My question is, have you noticed any trends over the last few years in young strength coaches of any specific concepts or knowledge or even a mindset that we are lacking understanding in, or just aren't where you think we should be as up-and-coming coaches if we want to put ourselves in a position somewhere down the road to be a successful coach similar to yourself or many of our other mentors? I'm really looking forward to hearing your thoughts on this. Thanks a lot, Coach.
Lauren, great question, and I don't want to be one of those coaches that talks about walking uphill both ways with no shoes in the snow back when I was coming up through the ranks, and so I hated that when I was there, and so I don't want to be that guy. I think the biggest difference, or the thing that I see the most now with young coaches coming out, is not quite understanding the difference between being qualified, having your certifications, having your degrees, maybe having just a little bit of experience, and being qualified with experience. Just because you graduate college, you have your degree, does not mean that you should be all of a sudden the head strength coach at the University of Alabama. It takes quite a bit of experience. This is very much a apprenticeship type of profession. It's still relatively young, and if you go to the turn of the century and things like that, obviously most things were apprenticeship based, and I think that's where we're at as a profession. You still have to get in it, and because there's not an academic degree-seeking program specifically for strength and conditioning, that you're Frankensteining these degrees by this manufactured academic experience by doing exercise science or biology or sports management or whatever, and then just getting a certification. We're still lacking on a lot of the qualities that I talk about in my book, The CEO Strength Coach, about being a great technician. I think we have some pretty good programs right now with the technical part of things, but we're losing out still on how to manage people, time, and resources, and we're also losing out on and not quite understanding the entrepreneurial side of things, where you have to be forward thinking and constantly be sharpening the sword, and creating a cushion and multiple streams of income and things for when you're in between or periods of transition in this profession. And so I think there's still quite a bit to be developed by the young strength coach by taking on these experiences that are going to contribute to them being successful. I think the second thing is the art of coaching and communicating. Just because you know the technical aspects of how to teach the squat doesn't mean that you always have the eye to be able to pinpoint deficiencies and an incorrect technique, and then turn around and also be able to put it in terms for them to be able to take away and simplify the complex so that they understand completely how to, in their terms, the athlete's terms, be able to walk away with understanding what you're talking about. And so that art of coaching and communicating can only be developed by experience and getting out there and doing it. And so when you're doing these internships, when you're doing these graduate assistantships and these coaching assistantships, understanding and watching those around you and how they interact and how they get their point across and how they build buy-in and develop a culture, those are going to expedite your learning curve so that you can get to where you want to get faster. Lastly, I think understanding the X factor. Now just because you come out and you're qualified, and maybe you have a little bit of experience, doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be ready. You're going to be the guy or the gal for the job. When I'm looking to hire somebody, I'm looking for things that I'm not. I'm looking for someone that's going to bring something to the table and make our program better than it is now. And so the beauty of where we're at as a profession right now is that our graduates, our recent graduates, are coming out so much smarter, so much more rooted in the science. They got more time to really dive into some of these specific variables and components of strength and conditioning that you can really develop a level of expertise that maybe some of the coaches that have been in it for a while don't have. I've had to be a jack of all. I think, you have to be an expert in strength and speed and power and balance and coordination and kinesthetic awareness and skill acquisition and all these things. And the reality is that you can't be an expert in all. And so I look to hire people that are specifically have skill sets in those areas to make me better as a coach. I'm looking for people that have unique stories, something that, that they have an experience that they've gone through that's going to be great for our athletes. I'm looking for people that have, maybe the playing experience in the sport that I'm hiring for. Those X factors are critical, and so, making strategic moves as a young strength coach, I think is very important. I think you have to decide earlier now than you did maybe where you want to end up when you close your eyes at night. What is your dream job, and then take strategic moves to kind of put yourself in a position to get that job. I wanted to be in the NFL as a strength and conditioning coach. So, I took a job with the Kansas City Royals to show that I can work with professional athletes, and then turned down a job to stay on as their AAA coordinator to take an internship in the NFL because I knew putting an NFL organization on my resume was going to serve dividends down the line for what I wanted to do. It wasn't easy turning down a full-time job, and it wasn't easy always coming up through the ranks like that. But I think it's also important to make those strategic moves throughout. So to kind of summarize, Lauren, I think first you got to understand there's a difference between being experienced and qualified. You have to truly develop the art of coaching and communicating, and then you got to understand that X factor and make strategic moves to get to where you want to be. So, Lauren, I hope that answers your question. Would love to hear what everyone else thinks. Use the hashtag AskCoachMac15 to continue the discussion over on Twitter. Lauren, thanks for your question. I want to encourage everyone else that if you have a question that you would like to potentially be featured on the show, head over to AskCoachMac.com. There you can ask your question by hitting the record button at the bottom of the page. Thanks so much. I appreciate you. And here's a quote to finish the day by Michael Jordan. If you're trying to achieve, there will be roadblocks. I've had them. Everybody else has had them. But obstacles don't have to stop you. If you run into a wall, don't turn around and give up. Figure out how to climb it, go through it, or work around it. Take care, guys. I'll see you in the next episode of Ask Coach Mac. Bye for now.